What's happening, everyone? It's GBall, and I have a new knife here to unbox for you, coming in from Tenable Knives. It is actually a brand spanking new release for them here in April 2026. It came out alongside the new Tenable Goblin. If you're not familiar with Tenable, they are the sister company to Concept Knives. Not only do they put out some of their own designs, but they also go back to the drawing board and take more premium concept designs and put them in a more affordable format like the Goblin, Fenrir, and a plethora of other knives. And today we are going to have a similar situation. This is the new Ray Laconico designed Bison, and it is going to be completely different from what I gather than the premium Bison. And I can tell you already, it is completely different because the Concept Bison is a huge knife. I would consider this right here more of a mid-sized knife. We will take a look at the Concept Bison here in a few moments, but let's get this thing out and see what we are working with. Of course, I had to go with the bronze blade. I am a huge fan of the bronze PVD coating, and these are going to retail for about $68, $69, but you can get them as low as $60. And I do have a discount code for Tenable's website that'll knock a few more dollars off. So you can pretty much get these between $55 and $65, which for a Nitro V blade and aluminum handle, that is a pretty damn good deal. It is going to have a deep carry clip to match the blade. It is right hand carry only, and that is aluminum on this particular one. But I believe they have 4 or 5 different versions of this knife, like they always do. Dual thumb studs for the deployment. I love how the guard is worked into the design. It just makes this knife look really cool. And when we bring out the older brother or the larger Bison, you're going to see what looks like a mini folding sword. This is open construction. We have open construction here with a couple of large standoffs, and then we do have steel liners in here that are recessed with milling for weight relief. Great access to the liner there, and that is chamfered off. The detent feels very good on this knife right here. Easy to get to those thumb studs and flick that bad boy out. As far as reverse flick goes, not a problem whatsoever. Nice little sharpening choil there. This is where things are going to get interesting. Initially, I thought this knife was going to be the exact same size, the exact same thing as the concept version. However, it is completely different. So I'm pretty interested to get into some of these detailed specs here. We'll get a full length measurement, and that's going to come in at 7, and we'll give it 7 3/8 overall. We have 3 3/16 of cutting edge, and we'll call it 3 3/8 of total blade. We'll bring out a couple of comparison knives, and we're going to start off with the original Bison. So you can see my surprise here at the difference, because I fully thought the Tenable Bison was going to be the exact same thing, and it's got quite a bit of different style to it, and obviously the size is going to be quite a bit different. We'll bring out the Tenable Goblin here and throw that up for comparison. One thing I do like, however, about the new Tenable Bison is the size. I, however, have come around on this type of size right here, and this type of knife and size is perfect for a secondary backup 5th pocket type knife for me personally. I know that's a full-size knife to some people. This is more my speed if we're talking a full-size knife, and I am a huge fan of Ray Laconico. It is no secret. I am a big fan of his work, and he does a great job with Tenable and Concept. We'll do 2 more here. We got the Vizino Rock Shark up top, and we have the new Trivisa Batwing L on the bottom. We'll bring out our 50 ways baked in GBall Vision Iris Hank here and see what this looks like in the pocket. That is a nice clean clip, and it's actually an update from some of the previous clips they have used. I really like this one here. Going to carry pretty deep. You'll have maybe like 1/8 of an inch poking out of the pocket, and the texturing on the handle is really going to help keep this knife in place. Plenty of clearance under there, very good retention. Now it is surface mounted. It should have been recessed, especially since there is no lefty love here, but the screws are recessed. There's plenty of clearance under there. That clip is going to work really well. I believe, yeah, they went with a milled clip on the original Bison. It is that time to get the arch nemesis off the shelf and give the new Bison a weight check. I like to play a little game here on the channel with the new knives that come in. It is called Guess the Weight, where I attempt to guess the weight of the new knife, but I always invite you to play along. You put your guess down in the comments. Ounces or grams, whichever you prefer. Even if you already have a comment down there, go ahead and put your guess. If you're enjoying today's video, you like knives and EDC, double check and make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. I'm going to give this a go here. We had about 3 1/4 of blade aluminum with steel. I'm going to say that it's pretty close to ratios, maybe a little higher actually. I'm going to say it feels like it could be like a 3.4, 3.5, 3.5. Oh! Yes. 98 grams and 3.4. I'm competitive. I want to win. It's hard to beat a machine, though. I've had a couple of off days here recently, but I'll say I was 0.1 off because I went with 3.5, but should have went with my natural instinct, which is normally right. It is 3.4 ounces. The next thing we're going to do here is get our calipers out and get a couple of measurements on our handle and blade. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and do some comparison against the original Bison. We'll start off with the handle thickness for that matter, 0.46 and 11.8 millimeters. We'll go over to the blade stock thickness, which is the thickest part of the blade, 2.96 millimeters and 116 thousandths. That is the blade stock thickness, and that is very typical or average. Probably looking at 22 thousandths behind the edge, and not bad, 21 thousandths. So coming down there nice and thin. Let's see what we have on the original here. So we're at 135 thousandths for the blade stock thickness. This thing is such a tank. I'm going to have to put this in my pocket. Maybe we'll have to dual-wield Ray Laconicos today. And our behind the edge for this big, beefy monster is still coming down at 22 thousandths in that particular spot with that particular hold. Let's see how this bad boy cuts out of the box. And for that, we will use our standard catalog paper here, 2024 Christmas edition. We got the Benchmade page right here. I'm a sucker for a clip point style blade. No, it's not the end all be all. It's not the do all type of blade shape, but ever since I was a youngster, I've always loved clip points and tantos, and that's carried and stayed with me throughout my life. But I have expanded my love for blade shapes, and sheep splits, Warren Cliffs, Hawksbills have all become, a favorite of mine, let's just say. This has a beautiful edge on it. Nitro V is a fine steel, especially down in this price point. I like to see the variety that Tenable is using over there. This thing is beautiful. And let's see how this S35 is holding up here. This actually has quite a bit of use and carry on it, because when these originally came out, I could not put this thing down. Still has a pretty good edge on it. certainly a working edge, and it even has a decent fine edge still on it. So that is holding up very nicely. Look at that thing. Just a beautiful specimen there from Ray and Concept Tenable. We'll grab our off-grid driver here and we'll get a hardware check. We have a tooled pivot here, and that's going to be T8. That's what we got in the driver. Body screws are T8. Everything feels nice and tight. Then on the back side, we have our body screw, tooled pivot. Still have that body screw here. Wonder why they didn't include the top screw of the pocket clip to fall in line with that one there. Looks like we're going to be T6 on the pocket clip, and that is what it's going to be. So you have T8 all the way around, with the exception of the pocket clip there. That's going to be T6, but you don't have to take the clip off to disassemble the knife. So that is a nice touch, I would say, and you really can't notice, or you really don't notice that screw a whole lot. So it could have been done both ways, but in order to take it apart, then you would have to take the clip off. In this case, you don't have to deal with that. If you want to take this thing apart, clean it up, do some maintenance, what have you, I recommend having a good driver and good bits always for dealing with your knives. So we're going to introduce the new Bison here to the spine whacker in a few moments, but let's run this thing through a couple of checks. It's perfectly centered up there. Everything looks really good. The detent is beautiful on this knife. Outstanding for a liner lock. And then a nice smooth close there. Very controlled, very clean. Yes. Thumb stud placement is very good. I love the integration of the guard. That is an awesome 1-2 punch right there. Check that out. Tell me that's not an awesome 1-2 punch. Very comfortable in hand. That is going to be quite a bit taller if you're someone who bought a original Concept Bison. The handle on this is going to be much taller, so is the blade, but they were able to have a nice spec for the blade on the new Bison here. It's going to be comfortable in hand. I like this thing quite a bit, actually. I'm kind of struggling here. Man, maybe I'll go with that as a 1-2 punch. Goblin and Bison for a 1-2 punch. But I want to carry the Concept, though, too. Maybe I'll do all three. I've had a hard time putting this down. I'm a huge fan of the Goblin. It was the first Concept that I ever bought, a premium Goblin XL. This is considered the large version or just the regular. They did minis and XLs. But this is a good size. It's not a small knife by any stretch. Let's go ahead, and we've covered everything else. We'll go ahead and we'll get the spine whacker out here. There's one thing I did want to double check. Let's see here. 58 to 60 on the Nitro V. And that is going to be a flat grind. That's what I thought. So we got 58 to 60 on the Nitro V, which is right where it's supposed to be roughly, and flat grind on the blade. Here we go. We'll grab the spine whacker out of the box there, or off the tool chest, I should say. And we're going to go ahead and give this thing a nice little lock check here. About 40% on the lockup there, and we don't have issues with Concept and Tenable knives. No matter what the lock has been, they do a great job when it comes to their quality control. I don't feel any movement up or down, side to side. Nice large stop pin there. Let's see what we have. We'll start off with a light tap. That was a pretty hard tap, actually. Out there towards the tip, puts a lot of stress on the lock. And we're doing this just to make sure our locking knife stays locked up under a little bit of pressure. I don't think we're going to have any issues. Go ahead and we'll give her another Oh yeah, sounds really good. And that's a coated liner and blade. So they did things properly in there. I'm assuming no coating on the lock face, no coating on the tang. Excellent stuff from Tenable. I could not tell you how happy, how proud I am of Concept and Tenable, what they've done over the last year and a half. They've done a tremendously good job. You could tell late 2024 going into the holidays that year that Concept just made a huge turn and started going in an even better direction than they already was. I'm talking about great designs, great materials, good pricing, excellent edges out of the box, good strong lockup. Just, you know, they're going to be very hard to beat. And, you know, if I had my ways about it, I would say that they have become the most improved company of the year. That's just my opinion, of course, but they're at least one of them, if not the most improved company of the last year or so. You'll have to let me know, what do you think of Tenable, Concept, the new Bison? Have you picked up any new Concepts or Tenable knives here recently? I always look forward to hearing from you. Hit that thumbs up button for me. It truly helps me out. If you want to continue to see dope knife and EDC content, make sure you're subscribed here to the channel. I'll have links and discount codes to Tenable and Concept down in the description. I'll pop up a couple of new videos you haven't seen yet. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.